Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. I come to you today with a little tale of woe. A little tale of woe. You may notice I'm driving to work in the blue one, the Mark 1 Cav. That's because Orwin, my until now perfectly reliable Mark 2 Cav, the gold SRi130-powered rat Cav Orwin, decided to develop a little issue. The little issue being with the clutch. Now the story is the clutch had started to feel a bit weird, and the other day I heard a little twang and I thought to myself, oh, I wonder if the clutch cable's starting to snap, because it was that kind of metallic breaking, snapping kind of sound. So I thought to myself, oh crap, the clutch cable is on its way out. And I'd noticed that the biting point had started to get lower, and I had to adjust my clutch cable to get the biting point in a better position, because I got to the point where I couldn't actually change gear because the biting point was so low down. I was struggling to get the gears. Well anyway, last night driving home from work, I started having the same problem again, i.e. I was struggling to change gears because I couldn't press the clutch down far enough to completely disengage it. So I thought to myself, what on earth's wrong here? And I started thinking to myself, maybe the clutch cable is stretching, maybe it's stretching. And I'd heard another twang, again like metal breaking. So I decided to take the clutch cable off last night, but the clutch cable was actually completely fine. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. The clutch cable is fine. It actually looked like it was fairly new, like within the last couple of years or so. It looked really new. And it was a proper General Motors one, a proper GM genuine Vauxhall part with a Vauxhall part number on it. So I thought, so it's not like a cheap aftermarket one, and it ran nice and smoothly through the thing that it runs in. So it obviously wasn't the cable at fault. So I thought, right, okay, let's put it back on. And as I'm putting it back on, I noticed that the foot pedal, the brake pedal itself, didn't seem right, and it seemed to be moving on the bulkhead of the car. And that's when I noticed that the top bolt that holds the bracket on for the actual pedal assembly itself was no longer attached to the bit of metal it should be attached to. So I'm like, okay, that's not good. So where I'd heard metal twanging and breaking, it's actually part of the bracket that holds the clutch pedal assembly into the car. So because that top bolt had snapped, the whole assembly was moving and twisting. So when I was pushing my foot down, the whole thing was moving, and that's obviously why it felt really, really weird under my foot. And obviously because that had got a lot of free play in it, a lot of what was happening when I was pushing the clutch down was moving and twisting the metal rather than actually pressing the clutch down. So rather than the clutch actually pressing down, it was just twisting the bracket instead. And that's why it felt weird, and that's why it wasn't disengaging the gears, wasn't disengaging the clutch properly because of all the free play in it. So I'm like, oh God's sake, what else? What next? So anyway, this morning I come to work in the Mark 1, which I'm obviously driving now, and in my last driving video, driving home, it did a little bit of a cough and a splutter, but then it were alright. Well, this morning it was coughing and spluttering like mad again, like it had been before I did the fuel tank swap, like proper coughing and spluttering, like it was sucking air through again. oh, for God's sake, I thought I'd fixed it with the new fuel tank. So anyway, I've set off to work, coughing and spluttering, thinking, oh crap, I'm not going to get to work here. I'm going to have to phone in and tell them I can't come in because I've got no car. But I managed to make it to my local fuel station, and I managed to put another £20 of fuel in, and now it's okay again. So now what I'm thinking the problem is that because this fuel pump is such high pressure, and it's way more powerful than it needs to be, even with the fuel tank with the swirl pot, it's still sucking air when the tank gets low with fuel. It's still sucking air through, even with the proper tank, even with the swirl pot. So I put another £20 of fuel in, and it's absolutely fine again now. It's absolutely fine again. So my next job is, like I said before, I'm going to fit a more suitable fuel tank. But what I'm doing now is I'm driving to work, avoiding the motorway. So it's a bit of a long-winded way around, and it's going to take me longer to get to work, but at least if I have a breakdown, I'm not going to be stuck on motorway. That's what I'm thinking. Because obviously if I go my normal way, down motorway, if I have a breakdown on motorway, I'm a bit screwed, aren't I? So, but at least coming this way, it'll take me a bit longer to get to work, but at least if I did have a breakdown, I'm on normal back roads, and there's plenty of places I can pull in and try and sort it. So yeah, so next plan will be swapping the fuel pump over from my other Mark II Cav. I've got the Mark II Cav convertible, so what I'm going to do is temporarily I'm going to pinch that. I'm going to do that tonight when I get home. I'm going to pinch that off my Mark I and put it on this. Try and be like Miss Daisy, this man. Can't be doing with driving Miss Daisy. Doing me head in how slow he's going. Safe to say that this is running fine though. Now I've put more fuel in. One thing as well, I do think I'm going to fit a new fuel filter, because I think part of the problem might be that the fuel filter keeps getting dirt through from the tank, because I think one little problem I've got is that the fuel tank was just a little bit mucky inside. I did try and clear out most of the muck. But I do think it might be sucking a bit of muck through from in the bottom of the tank. I did my best to try and clear the fuel pump out, but I do think that there is still, fuel tank, but I do still think that there might be some muck getting sucked through from the tank, so I'm going to have an attempt at sorting it. Right, you see the bridge in front, up in the top corner of the camera, that's the motorway that I would normally be driving on. So yeah, I'm having to go a bit of a long-winded way around. If it's okay, then I'll probably risk going home on the motorway, but I'll see. See, it does seem to be absolutely fine. It does actually seem to be absolutely fine, but normally this is where I'd join the motorway, but instead I think I've got myself in wrong lane. I actually need to be in that lane. See if anybody will let me across. Please let me across. Mr. Van Driver. Of course, it's a slightly damp road as well, and I'm not used to driving this car on a wet road. especially with tyres which aren't the best tyres in the world. So I'm erring on the side of caution with bombing around corners fast and things, because one, it's rear wheel drive, and two, it's not on the best tyres in the world either, and it's got a welded diff because it was designed for drifting, so it's probably not the most practical car to be using in wet weather. Anyway guys, I'm going to carry on my journey to work. My phone battery's on 20%. As I said, that my phone needs a new battery, so I best finish the video here just in case I need my phone, in case I break down. Alright guys, until next time, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.